Good morning, everybody. It's time for morning manna. And how many of you remember back in your school days when you would say, "Don't call me out my name. Don't call me out my name. You got to call me by my name." What's in a name? What's in a name? That's what we're talking about this morning. It's the trailer for Sunday's message. It's the trailer for Sunday's message. And you know, we're in this whole series. We're in this whole series that we stepped off into to help you understand who is your real ID. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody on this Friday morning. Friday. It is Friday. I am ready. I'm ready to preach right now. I just need y'all to know that. Has this series been blessing you? We've only been two sermons into it. And I do need you to know, I do need you to know now, this Sunday is going to be a traditional message with respect to the delivery system in which we will do it, traditionally me standing and teaching and preaching, so on and so forth. But next Sunday's sermon is going to be, I'm soliciting prayers right now. We're going to step off into and roll up on some really dicey things. We're going to talk about transgender, the genders. We're going to talk about what we see, what is happening right now. It's a touchy subject. Families are dealing with this. We want to deal with it biblically and responsibly, um, compassionately, and with truth. So, but let me not get ahead of myself. Let me not get ahead of myself. That's not this Sunday, but next Sunday. This Sunday. How many of you remember back in your school days? Don't call me out my name. Don't call fighting words. Fighting words. I'm ready to go. Don't call me out my name. Call me out my name. It's on. It is on. What's in a name? That's what we're talking about this morning. Let me greet some people and get into the word. I got a busy day today. I don't know about you all. My God, my Friday is completely full. Good morning, Ella. How are you on this morning? Yolanda, how are you? Minister Yolanda, how are you? Arlene, my military buddy, how are you doing on this morning? Hope you're doing well on this morning. Good morning, Lenora. How are you? Deacon Joe, how are you? Ann, how are you? Brenda is in the house. How are you? Laura, how are you on this morning? Deborah, how are you on this morning? Pamela, how are you on this morning? LaFawn, how are you? Elder Mobley, how are you doing? Anna, how are you doing on this morning? This morning is all about, if you're just joining us, you can start sharing right now. If you're just joining us, it's all, don't call me out my name. Don't. What's in a name? What's in a name? That's what we're talking about. It's the trailer for Sunday's message. Verena, how are you on this morning? Gerald, how are you on this morning? Dawn, how are you? Pamela, how are you on this morning? Vaughn, how are you on this morning? Dan the man, how are you? That's right. Good morning, Friday. You already know it. Brent, Deborah, how are you on this morning? Liz, how are you on this morning? Cynthia, how are you doing on this morning? Frat, how you doing on this morning? Yeah, that was a long direct message, but you know what? It takes that sometimes to get the point out, to make the point. And speaking of points, I am going to speak to where we are. I did the manna yesterday, and I am going to speak to kind of where we are in our country. Not in a good place right now. We're not in a good place, not at all, with the assassination of Charlie. And I'm going to speak to those things. I kind of did some research, and not kind of. And yeah, yeah. Everybody deserves dignity in death, but you don't deserve being made a martyr given the position. So I'm going to delve into that a little bit Sunday in my pastoral comments. How about that, Francine? How are you on this morning? Carolyn, how are you this morning? Jacqueline, how are you on this morning? Peggy, how are you? Z, how are you on this morning? Let me catch some folk. How are you? Samara, how are you on this morning? Just shout out for how God moved on your prayer request. God is awesome. God is awesome. Thankful to God on that. Good morning, Pastor Richard. How are you on this morning? Elder Jan, how are you all on this morning? How many of you ready for the word on this morning? This morning, You already know. I don't know whether this is the case or not, Pastor Richard, in Liberia, but here in America, it was fighting words. Don't you call me out my name. Don't call me. Call me by my name. Call me by my name. So what's in a name? What's in a name? This is the trailer for Sunday's message. Good morning and welcome to Morning Manna, where in 5 minutes or less, you're going to get an impartation with the text, the talk, and the takeaway. Join the Morning Manna fam every weekday morning at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Don't forget to put in the chat the revelation that you get and share the manna. Now, let's get ready to have some manna so you can make it through your day. Here's the text, Genesis 32:22. You've heard it many times. Hear it again for the very first time. That night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. The ford is where it comes together. It's where we're making the decision. We're going one way or the other. Here's what's happening in the text. Jacob's story at the Jabbok is more than a midnight wrestling match that we know so well. It's a biblical readers, you know this story, but I need you to get the revelation perhaps that you've not yet gotten. It's a collision between who he had been and who God was calling him to be. All the labels, trickster, hustler, runner, had to bow so a new name could rise. You can't be two at the same time. Sometimes God isolates us, not to punish us, but to have a transformational moment with us. Everybody has to come to that place. He won't allow us to cross into destiny with an old ID. An old ID. Your current wrestle may be the doorway where grace meets grit and identity gets an upgrade. There's 3 things I want you to grab a hold of this morning that you might just get a trailer of where we're going. Think you know this story? Hang in here. Don't go anywhere. And you certainly need to be present Sunday. 1, God often meets us in private moments to prepare us for public purpose. Yeah. God, when God gets ready to do something in your life, there must be a transformational moment. 2, wrestling with God isn't about winning, but about surrendering to his call. I often look at this event that happens in the text, and my mind goes to the WWE or the WWF, whatever it is, when the fight is already fixed, when the championship is about to transfer. And more often than not, we have a sense of what is the conclusion going to be, but the fight itself still must take place. The wrestling match still must happen, though we may know and have a suspicion as to who is going to win. It still has to happen. It does. So it does on that night. Here's the 3rd thing I want you to get in this trailer that you can't miss this Sunday. A new season often begins with a new name. Don't call me out my name unless it's the new name that God is about to place on me. What's your takeaway this morning? Here's your takeaway this morning. Your takeaway is this. You want to know your real ID? Then you need to get to know your real name. You want to know your real ID? You need to get to know your real name. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. If this manna bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. 2 days from Sunday, I'll see you 8 and 10. Share this manna. Share this manna. Have a good weekend. God bless you.